What's up, guys? It's Ryantium here, and today we are back in Stellaris Console Edition, taking a look at growth, jobs, and pops in 2.2. Now, I've seen a lot of questions surrounding how exactly to wrap your head around the pops, the districts, the jobs, the growth, how you grow your planets, what happens when your planets get too overpopulated, what happens with unemployed. Today, we're going to hopefully quell those questions and hopefully get to the bottom of some of those. So first things first. Briefly, we're going to touch on growth speed as well as assembly speed. So growth speed and assembly speed is in regards to how quickly a pop can grow on a planet and how quickly a robot can be assembled on a planet. These numbers can be boosted through specific techs, they can be boosted through specific traits, different civics, as well as different jobs. For instance, if we take a look at our growth speed right now on the planet Sniff in the system Snort, we currently have a growth speed out of 100 of 3.44 a month, meaning every month one pop will make 3.44 progress towards 100. Different from 1.7, where your growth kind of total increased every time a new pop grew. This one is a flat 100 across the board on every planet, habitat, ring world, everything like that. Which is really great because when you start to get massive amounts of growth speed, where instead of growing by 3.44, you're growing by 7.9 or 9.10, or even on PC as high as I've seen it at 20.2. I don't know if that's possible on Xbox, but it is possible on PC. You will be growing so fast. Same thing with assembly speed. Although assembly speed comes with a job. And the reason I'm going straight from assembly speed to jobs is because one of the jobs in Stellaris is this: the robot assembly plants. No more do you have to single-handedly deploy a robot on a tile. In 1.7, if you wanted a robot to mine minerals or energy from a specific tile, you would then have to build a robot manually on that tile, and then that tile would be taken up by a robot. Not anymore. Robots, in tandem with your organic pops, will be built next to your organic pops. There are 3 rectangles here that show you growing, assembling, and declining. This is if you're purging pops, this is if you're assembling pops, and this is if you're growing pops. And the way that you can see your roboticist workers is if you come into the specialist section and scroll down to see your roboticist. Now, your roboticist will take 6 minerals a month and turn it into +2 assembly speed to your robots, hence why we are currently growing at a +2. Now, the +2.30, I think the +30 or the 0.30 is coming from a specific modifier somewhere on the planet. So that should tackle everything with growth speed, assembly speed, and how you can actually grow your population alongside your economy. Because your economy is based up of jobs. It's based within jobs, whether those are district jobs or building jobs. We're going to go over each and every single one of them so that you know where exactly you should build, how exactly you should build, and how you should expand. So jobs are broken down into 3 distinct strata. We have rulers, specialists, and workers. Workers make up the raw resource extraction, the food, the minerals, the energy, the amenities, as well as the trade value. Specialists create things from raw materials, so such as research, unity, alloys, consumer goods, armies, crime, or reduction of crime. Then rulers are the people that you would expect to rule. They create unity, they create amenities, and if you have a special one known as technocracy, they actually can create science. And that's a really, really great trait, or a really great civic to have, especially if you want to rush science. But let's break this down. Workers. Your workers will come from these districts: your clerk, your city districts, your generator districts, your mineral districts, and your food districts are all the raw resource production jobs. Those are your workers. That's what we have 28 of currently. The jobs that come with this, we have clerks within the city districts, technician jobs from the generator districts, miners from the mining districts, and farmers from the food districts. Those are your worker jobs. Now, when you build a district on a planet, when a pop has grown, it will take the closest job to it. Meaning, On our planet status up there, we have 1 open job, 0 unemployed, and 6 open housing. So when this agriculture district is done, we will have 8 open housing and 3 open jobs, unless this pop grows already and takes the 1 job that's open. Therefore, we would have +7 housing and +2 open jobs. Now, the way that you can see which jobs you currently have a vacancy in is if you come to the population screen and you see your workers. So your workers right here, you can tell that we have 2 out of 3 clerks. Now here in this screen, you can help prioritize things such as, say I wanted clerks. If I deprioritize one of these jobs and prioritize clerks, more and more of the pops will want to be clerks as opposed to being technicians, miners, and farmers. Now keep in mind, alongside the pops that you have, the robots will always take the worker jobs first. The pecking order goes: robots work in worker jobs, droids can work in worker jobs and specialist jobs, and synthetics can work in worker jobs, specialist jobs, and ruler jobs, depending on if you have the correct technology. But back to the prioritization of the jobs. If you click A, that will favorite this position, meaning on the next tick, your pops will move. In fact, it can actually do it without even the game being unpaused. So see, I clicked A and I favorited clerks. Therefore, we lost a technician, losing some energy production on our planet. But if I click A again, and I let it go, chances are, over time, another pop will shift to that job. In fact, if you click A again, there you go. We're back to having the technician. But the other thing that you can do with jobs, and this goes for specialists and rulers as well, is you can do something that's like this. So say we want to deprioritize some metallurgist jobs, and we want them to be somewhere else. Well, you can click the right thumbstick to the left 1 time, and that changes the job priority. Now, what exactly did that do? Well, that actually created an unemployed pop on our planet. Up there in the planet status, you can see the silver triangle with a red 1 next to it creates an unemployed specialist. That's because when you unemploy someone that's not a worker, that takes time. It takes time to demote that pop to an open job that's beneath them. So for instance, you lose your job as a doctor, but you need to find a job in somewhere else. You're looking for open jobs. You are going to take time to fill that job. That's what happens when you unemploy a specialist or a leader pop. But if we go right to the right again, there we go. We no longer have an unemployment problem, and our pops are safe. They have jobs, everything is good. That is what these jobs do, and that's what these buildings and districts do. The best way to remember it is this. When you build a district, you get housing and you get jobs. Watch your housing and watch your jobs. If you have more housing than jobs, and you have an open slot for a building, build a building on it, because then you will generate specific specialist jobs, whether that's a research lab, whether that's an alloy foundry, civilian industries, etc., etc. If, however, you have an equal amount of housing and an equal amount of jobs, it's best to build districts, in my opinion, because then when you have the same number of housing and same number of jobs, you're still going to expand by that same number. So if I had 0 available housing and 0 available pops jobs, or 0 available jobs, I would then build another district, giving me +2 housing and +2 jobs. Only once you do that, you can either choose to build a city district to expand your housing, to then begin to build more buildings. So I hope that helps to break some of this down as far as strategies to begin to expand your economy, ways to micromanage the way your pops actually work, and kind of a little bit of an understanding as to how your pops can grow and how your planets can be micromanaged. Because when done correctly, you can be just like me. At 2254, I have +193 energy, +201 minerals, +30 alloys, and 352 science. Now this could definitely be higher, but it's a nice thing to see. I want to show you the way an empire can look, not necessarily an organic empire, but a machine empire. Now I have this playthrough, the Model 16 Eradicators. The Model 16 Eradicators is a machine intelligence spec'd out to be a determined exterminator. And when you know how to properly build your districts, your jobs, your buildings, and everything like that, you can really begin to exploit the game in how you make resources. And what I mean by that is, yes, indeed, you do indeed see at the top I am currently plus 4,860 energy a month, with 13,236 energy actually being produced, with a whopping 8,300 energy being consumed every month. You can see that the economy is very, very good, and the reason we're producing consumer goods and food is because of a wonderful donation from our lovely fallen empire over here in the Font of Knowledge. We now own this Ecumenopolis, which we're turning into a foundry world, but they make all sorts of crazy stuff on these planets. But you can really see how easy it is to really ramp up your economy. So if we take a look here, this is a machine world. I have mainly energy districts as well as nexus districts, which are the housing districts. We've got minus amenities, which could be better, but we have 111 pops on this planet with no unemployed and anything like that, which leads me into my final point, and I'm going to touch on this briefly. Overpopulation. Overpopulation is one of the hardest things to overcome, especially when you're trying to develop a good economy. When it comes to overpopulation, there is something that you can do to stop it, but it's sometimes a catch-22. Sometimes it's a double-edged sword. So we'll go ahead and close all of this stuff that we don't need, and we'll come back up to the planet and we'll check this out. So if that housing icon up there gets to 0, you're then going to be having overpopulation. There's a couple things that you can do. You can either, 1, resettle your pops to another planet, by picking a planet with an open job, moving a pop over there, and then being good to go. Now keep in mind, if you have open jobs on a planet that are worker jobs, and you move a specialist over, that specialist is still going to be unemployed. Because it was from a specialist job, it can't go to a worker job unless it already has demoted itself over 1,800 days. So just keep that in mind. If you're moving it to open jobs that are worker jobs, move the workers. If you're moving it to a specialist job, move the specialist. If you're moving a ruler, move the ruler. You know, just keep that in mind. But when it comes to overpopulation, yes, you can resettle them, or if you're crazy, you can come to your policy section, scroll all the way down to the bottom, where you find population controls. This allows you to turn on or off the ability to stop your people from breeding. The problem with that, if you come over here to the summary and you go to declare population controls, it costs 25 influence, gives you -5 stability on that planet, but then it gives you a +100 emigration push, meaning your pops will automatically seek out other planets that have more housing or more open jobs. Now, it can be a nice thing to do if you're a machine empire, because you don't get any negatives when you stop production of robots. Not to mention, if you just want to turn off robot production because you're producing way too many pops, you can always demolish the building and you can cease robot assembly right there. So that's kind of the gist of it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions down there in the comment section. I know the new system is a little bit hard to wrap your head around coming from the tile system, but let me know if you have any problems, any questions, and I will try my best to answer them. So with that being said, guys, if you're looking for any more Stellaris Console Edition content, you can always park it right here, grab a sub, drop a like if you will, and I've got plenty of videos coming in the future, as well as videos that we've done already on a whole bunch of stuff from Synthetic Dawn to 2.2. So if you're looking for anything like that from me, you can always check the channel, but if you're looking for another channel based around Stellaris, you can always check the description. There are plenty of channels down there that I've listed that do amazing content surrounding Stellaris. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.